Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurlela. I want to analysis Daisy Miller by Henry James. Biography Henry James. Henry James was born on 15 April 1843 and died on 28 February 1916 at the age of 72. Henry James was an American writer known as one of the key figures of the 19th century literary realists. He was the son of Henry James, a priest, and brother of philosophy and psychologist William James, and the author of the Daily Alice James. James spent 40 years from his life in England, making him one of the subjects in England in 1915, 1 year before his death. He is especially known for his series of novels in which he described a meeting between Americans and Europeans. His writing method is sent from the point of view of a fairy tale character, making him face the issue concerned with unconscious and feeling, and the style in his artwork can be compared with the Impressionist painting. The famous words from Henry James are the American Titan of the Street, the portrait of a lady, the wings of the deaf, Daisy Miller, and the ambassador. The name of the cast Daisy Miller, there is Daisy Miller, Mr. Giovelli, Mrs. Walker, Randolph Miller, Winterbourne, Mrs. Costello, Mrs. Miller, and Eugene. Summary of Daisy Miller. At a hotel in the resort town of PBI, Switzerland, a young American named Winterbourne meets a rich, pretty American girl named Daisy Miller, who is traveling around Europe with her mother and her younger brother, Randolph Winterbourne, who has lived in Geneva most of his life, is both charmed and mystified by Daisy, who is less proper than the European girls he has encouraged. She seems wonderfully spontaneous, a little cross and uncultivated, even though Mrs. Costello, his aunt, strongly disapproves of the Miller and flatly refuses to be introduced to Daisy. Winterbourne spends time with Daisy at Vevey and even accompanies her to Zealand Castle, and famous local tourist attraction. The following winter, Winterbourne goes to Rome, knowing Daisy to be a tree and desires to learn from his aunt that she has taken up with several well-known fortune hunters and become the talk of the town. She has one suitor, in particular a handsome Italian named Mr. Giovelli, of a certain background, whose conduct with Daisy mystifies Winterbourne and scandals the American community in Rome's fashionable society. Mrs. Walker and Winterbourne attempt to warn Daisy about the effect her behavior is having on her reputation, but still refuses to listen. Daisy spends increasingly more time with Mr. Giovanni. Winterbourne begins to have doubts about her character and how to interpret her behavior. He also becomes uncertain about the nature of Daisy's relationship with Mr. Giovanni. Sometimes Daisy tells him they are gents, and other times she tells him they are not. One night, on his way home from a dinner party, Winterbourne passes the Colosseum and decides to look at by moonlight, braving the bad night hour that is known to cause Roman fever, which is malaria. He wins Daisy and Mr. Giovanni there, and intermediate concludes that she finds that she is too lacking in self-respect to bother about. Winterbourne is still concerned about Daisy's health, however, in response, Giovanni and urges him to get her safety home. A few days later, Daisy becomes gravely ill and she dies soon after. Before dying, she gives her mother a message to pass on to Winterbourne that indicates that she cared what he thought about her after all. At the time, he does not understand it, but a year later, still thinking about Daisy, he tells his aunt that he made a great mistake and has left in Europe too long. Nevertheless, he returns to Genera and his former life. This analysis the Daisy Miller, the book portrays the friendship between a beautiful American girl, Daisy Miller, and Winterbourne, her most sophisticated countryman, the most joyful and honest female character, and puts her into the middle of a community that sees her full of birth. Daisy Miller, with her honesty and sincerity, becomes a curse of the them. Even for Winterbourne, the young American learner is known on the outskirts of the Lake Geneva. The girl looks and educates this young man called Daisy was a little too far praises the manners of society, the sincerity of the charming Daisy, and the heart of Winterbourne is not friendly. Winterbourne was amazed and Daisy Miller for his regard for manners. The moral message found in the novel Daisy is that the social class difference is to be eliminated because we are all human beings, so let us appreciate each other. I think it's enough for me. Thank you very much and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.